Hello everyone. I'm going to take the earpiece out because can't hear myself in the own show. But welcome everyone to today's Tech Talk Wednesday. I am here live at the FilmGear Expo in Dallas, Texas. Let me just show you the show here. We've got lots of different vendors going on here, and I can pan this camera around. We got cameras, batteries, lights. There's Chauvet over there. There's another battery supplier over here, and I just realized I can hear myself on the playback on the other device. Let me turn that down. And I welcome your questions and comments. I can see them here in the YoloBox. So feel free to chime in, ask your questions. I'm not in my studio today, so I don't have access to the normal types of resources, but I do have another YoloBox, so if you have questions about the YoloBox and live streaming, I can demo it on the YoloBox Mini. So if you're watching on Facebook, please be aware that the YoloLive has the YoloLive Tech YouTube channel, which has lots and lots of tutorials on the YoloBox, YoloBox Mini, the InStream, and the YoloCast. Be sure to check that out, like and subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube, know that we have the official YoloLive users group on Facebook that is populated by hundreds of people who are enthusiasts about the device. We always want more, we always want new features, but we all use it and we all do our best with it. And as proof is in the pudding, I am using the YoloBox Pro today. I use the YoloBox Pro for every video that I make for YoloLive. So if you see a video that I'm making, it's done with the YoloBox. If you have any technical issues, there's a support email, support@YoloLive.com, and that is how you would reach out to the support staff. I'm just checking my audio. I realized I had two microphones on, so excuse me for that. Let's jump over to the comments. Again, we had hello from Croatia, and we also had hello from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I have one question in here already. Will we find out that the Sunday transmission problems are already fixed? I saw a lot of people commenting about that, and I saw a lot of fervor, and just given by the suddenness and how it was actually working for some people, I don't necessarily know if it was completely on the YoloLive servers or if it was a YouTube connection or an API issue or what exactly that was going on. I will wait for official word from the YoloLive team through the YoloLive group on Facebook. So I am an end user. I should introduce myself. My name is Anthony Barocas. I am an end user, content producer, live streamer, and I am based in Dallas, Texas, Central Time Zone, and I'm producing this at noon where I am. And I welcome all the viewers from around the world who are watching us. Roland Studio says, how to stop the video playing from the SD card. To get video to stop playing from the SD card, there's 3 different settings in your settings, and I can actually demo that. Let's go over here into settings, and I can call that up. So if you're in your settings, your video source switching mode, not that one, SD card switching, continue playing when switching, resume the first frame and pause, which is usually what I use. So I will set that. So when I cut away from a video, it goes back to the first frame and sits there. So when I bring it back, it's all queued up again. Or you could just have it pause when switching, and your need may change during a show. Let's just say you're talking about a movie. You wanted to play and then pause when you switch away, and then you wanted to continue when you switch back. So different times you might want different settings for that. But generally, for short videos like commercials or bumpers or anything like that, I say go back to the first frame and pause when switching. Hi from Chicago. Thank you very much. Good to hear you from Chicago. Roland Studio says it goes in a loop. Yes, there is a setting for that. And let's come back out, and it's not here on the Mini. I can't demo it, but it is on the Pro, where you could have it, you can set it to loop, or you can set it to just sit at the end of the frame. That is the setting. So if you are on the Pro, you can make it stop at the end, or you can make it loop. Generally, I would want it to loop. This way, if I don't cut away from it instantly, I'm not sitting there staring at the last frame, kind of aghast at what's going on. Hello from Malaysia. So hello to you. For everyone that's tuned in a little bit late, my name is Anthony Barocas. I am a content producer here in Dallas, Texas, and today I'm actually on location. I will have a behind the scenes video, and I can actually take my webcam off if you all want it. Let me know if you want to see a little behind the scenes tour about what I got going on. I actually set this up. I'm talking into a webcam, which is going into the USB input on the YoloBox, and then over here I have a DSLR that can show you the fact that we've got battery makers, lighting makers. There's a little slider way over there. There's more content over there. There's a distributor over here. There's one of the battery guys over here, and there's a streaming product over there. So we're here, and this is just one corner of the expo that we've got going on here. It's a labyrinthian type of facility, so there's people in all nooks and crannies, and there's a big studio area where they're demoing things. We are at IdeaMan Studios in downtown Dallas. They have a green screen soundstage. They have a complete extended reality, virtual reality setup. So if you're looking for that, let me give props to them for letting me do this show here on location at IdeaMan Studios here in downtown Dallas if you're looking for those services. Let me go back to the comments. Hello from Romania. Wow, definitely an international audience today. Thank you for watching from around the world. I appreciate you all being here. Hello from North Carolina. I don't know where that's at. No, I'm kidding. Thank you also for being here from North Carolina. If you have, again, this is a Q&A show. I did not bring everything, but I do have a YoloBox Mini where I can go through certain questions. If you have questions related to how to produce on the YoloBox, we can talk about live streaming. We can talk about production, lighting, sound, anything like that. So your questions help drive the show, but we are here. That's the Chauvet light, and hopefully it doesn't end up too close to me. Because it was like right here before, and it was super blinding. It's a super bright light. Question comes up. During live streaming, if network failure where it takes time to switch to another network, is it possible to update the system so that immediately we shift to other network? That's typically called bonding. And the YoloBox Pro currently has bonding built in as a beta, and it will be available through YoloCast. So your internal cellular connection and your Wi-Fi connection will be bonded together, so the failure of one is irrelevant. It'll just keep streaming with the other one, and then when this one comes back, it can use both of them. Again, this is in early beta. It's available only in the US, only via cellular and Wi-Fi. People have all asked, can we involve the Ethernet as well? I anticipate that will come. Again, I'm an end user like you. I produce the content for YOLO Live, but I am not on the engineering team with behind the scenes information. And I also expect that because bonding requires a server on the other end to receive it and put those packets back in order, that means that they have to put these receiving servers around the world. So I expect a rollout of those services to be forthcoming in other countries. Hello from Oman. Oh man, that's far. Thailand. Okay, literally, I think we've circumnavigated the world. The only person who hasn't said hello is Hawaii or Alaska at that point. Hi there from Athens, Greece. Man, we have got a lively show today from around the world. How long can I stream with the YoloBox Pro with external power bank, and does it overheat problem? You can stream indefinitely. Does it have an overheating problem? No. The reason why the YoloBox Pro and the InStream, and actually the Mini as well, are built with fans to cool themselves off. And if you have the Pro, the entire back of the unit is just, full of vent holes to let the heat escape, let cool air in, let the heat escape. And how long can you go with an external battery bank? Well, you have a UPS, which is an uninterruptible power supply. I have an external battery bank, and there's actually a whole bunch of batteries right next to me from my friend over here at the expo. He's got some honking batteries. And you could run off of an external battery, and then when that battery dies, unplug it. The YoloBox will automatically switch to the internal power and just start using that, and then you can plug in another power supply. and then unplug that, and plug in another power supply, and unplug it, and plug in another power supply. And you could just keep doing that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and just keep going. So you really don't have to worry about power because your built-in battery, you can use it as your backup battery as opposed to your primary. If you're asking how long can you go with just the built-in battery, I would say an hour or so. I know people have gotten it further. It really depends upon how hard you're using it, how bright you have the display, uses a lot of power, how much you're pushing the CPU, whether you're using the USB input, you've got remote collars and all kinds of stuff. The more power you're drawing, the faster the battery is going to get used up. If you're indoors like I am, you can turn the brightness down. I'm not using a whole lot of inputs. I'm not doing a lot of crazy graphics at the same time. I've got no remote collars. I'm using less power, so my battery would run longer. So there is no one fixed length. It's not always going to last 2 hours because it's going to last different lengths of time for different people on different shows at different times. Hello, Anthony from Spain. Okay, I'm literally going to have to go back to the chat list and find out all the different countries where people are chiming in from. I appreciate all of you being out there and saying hello from wherever you are because it really lets me know, hey, we've got, I think it says 18 to 20 people going on right now, and that's just YouTube. I don't have a Facebook account. So if somebody's watching on Facebook and it can read the count for me, let me know what the count is on Facebook. Speedify now charges around $90 per year. Is there any info on how much does YoloLive plan the price of their bonding option? I don't know. Again, it's just in beta. I don't know what plan they're going to put it in. I don't know what tier it's going to be. But again, if it does become part of YoloCast, it's part of a whole suite of services. You're not paying just for bonding. Whereas Speedify, you're paying just for bonding. You're paying just for that service and VPN, which doesn't really help streamers. But in terms of Speedify, that's the one thing you're paying for. In terms of YoloLive, the cost may be greater, but you're also it does 200 other things. So you can't necessarily compare the two because YoloCast is not just for bonding. I'll say that. I connected the InstaLink 360 to the YoloBox. Oh, sorry. Connecting that InstaLink 360 to the YoloBox and connected a power bank to the YoloBox to compensate for the power the webcam uses. Works great. Yes, exactly. The YoloBox powering the webcam is just more power being sucked out of it. So, like you, I am running on an external battery. I have been running for over half an hour. I've actually been streaming for a half hour, and I am still at 100% on the YoloBox because I'm sucking the external battery dry. The external battery has 2 out of 4 lights, so I'm about at 50%. Is that a web camera? Yes, this camera is a web camera. It's a Logitech C920, and I have this set up on a removable thing. So if you all want to a little video tour of how I've got my little stand set up, let me know in the comments, and I can make that happen. If not, don't say anything, and then it won't happen. And then I also have a second camera, which is a DSLR, that I can point around the room and show the different vendors here at the expo. That's Chauvet Lighting. Over here is a battery vendor. And then over there is Broadfield Distributing, who carries the YoloBox. Over there is a little slider demo. And then we've got a couple of vendors along here as well. So that is what's going on here at the FilmGear Expo in Dallas, Texas at IdeaMan Studios. Again, I want to give them a plug because they let me set up and do my show this week from here. Sort of really just to show off the fact that the magic of the YoloBox is that it's battery operated. It's so self-contained that I'm literally doing a 2-camera, 3-input live show with comments and titles and graphics and video playback and everything else on one tripod. And I can carry it around, but I didn't want to do that because there's such a big crowd here. Let's see, checking in from Jamaica. Okay, if your country has not been called out yet, just let me know where you're calling from because I want to find out, how many different countries I am being watched in today. This is fantastic. It's really exciting. I see, I didn't get down to it over here, but I see hello from Pennsylvania. So I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I'm a Philly boy. Go Eagles. Is it possible to use Android mobile with YoloBox? Yes, I actually did a video on the YouTube channel. You can use both iOS and Android mobile devices as cameras a couple different ways. You could come out HDMI through a converter, or you can use them wirelessly. and that is on the YOLO. Oh, that's what I was going to do. There is a. If you're on YouTube, there are. Oh, I've done over 20 videos, different tutorials on the YoloBox, YoloBox Pro, streaming, networking, and one of the latest ones I did is how to use your mobile device as a wireless camera. It can be done. There is, of course, a little bit of delay. Just need to find the right app, and there's been a lot of suggestions in the Facebook group, which if you are not a member of the Facebook group, please join. Thankfully, Facebook can do translations through most any language, and there is a lot of really supportive people in the group who answer questions, and the YOLO Live core team in China listen, they are involved, they hear the what people are asking for, and they even ask questions of end users. It's the most involved company that I've ever worked with that really works with and wants to hear from their end users. All right, let me go back to my comments. St. Vincent's and the Grenadines. Oh my goodness. Hope to visit someday. Maybe that'd be great. Hello from Louisiana. Glad to see you in real life. From the Switcher Studio users. I actually know what SS means. I have a YOLO Pro, but still use Switcher Studio, And I tell people all the time, Switcher Studio users, and for those who don't know, it's an iPad-based iOS solution for multi-camera live switching. And that is great, but it only uses iPhones. That is it, and it can capture a screen. But that is what it does. It's its strength, but it's also its weakness because, I would say once a week somebody says, oh, how do I connect my DSLR? How do I connect a GoPro camera? You can't. It's not, you could do a workaround. It's really clunky, and in the end, it kind of sucks and people give up on it. The YoloBox has the HDMI inputs built in. So you can make things wireless, through using a Wi-Fi and then a receiver and then coming in via HDMI. And you can use your DSLR, and you can use your camcorder with a 20x optical lens, or you could use your microscope, or you could use your laptop and just jack in the HDMI and capture the screen directly. That's the thing. It has the advantages of tablet solutions that they can get the upgrades and new features and replay and remote callers and all this cool stuff. But at the same time, it has physical hardwired inputs that Switcher Studio doesn't have. In-stream cannot use SIM card AIS in Thailand. That is a carrier issue, I would guess. I am not aware of. I did a video on different YOLO boxes in different regions for different bands of carriers. I do not know if the in-stream has different worldwide models. So I'm going to leave that one open. I would say send an email to support@yololive.com or post about that in the Facebook group because, again, YOLO Live representatives can chime in, or other people who may be in the area may be able to offer solutions as well. Let's go back to those comments. What is your resolution and bitrate setup? I am at 5,141 kilobits, 30 frames a second. I have been live for 33 minutes, and it says I have 0 drop frames because the Wi-Fi here at Idea Man Studios, which they let me use, my rule one is bring your own Wi-Fi. But here, because this is a production studio, I expected that there would be an inside connection I could get. So I'm actually on the office Wi-Fi, not the public Wi-Fi. So again, thank you to Idea Man Studios for letting me do that to make this show happen. And we are at 1080p, 5 megabits CBR through the YoloBox Pro. And I'm using the built-in multicast service that is available in every YoloBox so that you can send to multiple destinations without having to pay for a separate service. So I've got YouTube and Facebook being streamed to directly from my YoloBox. And again, it does that through multicasting on YOLO Live's servers. I'm only sending one 5 megabit stream and not two. I'm sending one, and in the cloud, it gets split into two. That was my little demonstration there. Hello from Pennsylvania. Yes, I got that one over there. How to stream on YouTube using YoloLive using YoloBox. I don't know if you're asking me how I'm doing it or that you want to do it, but there's a there's a YouTube API built in, so you just have to connect your account to the YoloBox. You can stream directly to it, or if you have a client who won't give you connection to their account, they can set up an event and give you the RTMP, stream key, and URL. You would put those into an RTMP event, destination in the YoloBox, and then you would stream to that. I hope in the future YoloLive considers screen sharing for guests. Maybe, I don't know. I think right now, just off the top of my head, I would be kind of torn about that because this is not really a business chat application. I guess I can see the fact that they already have the web hook on the person who is the remote guest. You could technically make a second connection as a second guest, and because you then have two inputs, you would then be able to do a side-by-side, which would be pretty slick. But there are other solutions that do that better and do that already that you could bring into YoloBox. Hello from Denmark, and hello all. Hello from India, Mangalore. Oh man, I'm blown away at how many people around the world are watching this stream. Thank you all for tuning in. We've blown past 20 on YouTube. I don't have a Facebook account because I don't have that open in front of me. I just have a device over here watching the YouTube as a backup. And thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't already said where you're from, throw that out there in the live chat on Facebook and YouTube, because I would love to get a total count of how many countries this went out to today. For those who have tuned in late, my name is Anthony Barocas for YoloLive. This is the Tech Talk Wednesday live show. I am at Idea Man Studios and the Film Expo here in downtown Dallas. You can see, if I pan left, you can see different things going on over here. A lighting company, guys over here talking about batteries and everything. And I'm just in one corner of this building. This is a big facility. It's a big studio facility, and there's stuff all over the place. But they allowed me to set up in this nook and do my live broadcast from the location here, just so that I could give you a little bit better, different show. And if you are watching us on Facebook, there is a YoloLive Tech channel on YouTube. So many great tutorials on the InStream, on the YoloBox, on YoloCast. So go there, like, subscribe, and go through those things. They can get you up to speed very quickly on the many, many features available. If you are on YouTube, know that there is an official YoloLive user group on Facebook that is very active, very involved, easy to get good answers to your questions if they're available, if other people have experienced it. And the YoloLive people are involved in the group and will answer questions and sometimes even ask the audience what they want. And lastly, if you have a question that you feel is not being answered in the group, you can send it directly to, I'll bring that up again, support@yololive.com, directly to the mothership. Let's go back over to the comments. Over here we have Sweden. Thank you. When I go live on YouTube, the stream does not close. And that is a setting. When I was building today's show, there's a setting. You could say close on the stream end, or you could say leave it open, which can be helpful if you are in a tough situation and your stream will drop out for a couple of seconds. Do you want it to close automatically and shut you off, or do you want it to wait and then resume when new content comes in? I've had that happen. I've been on streams where I've been sending, but there's like a couple minutes that are missing from the final video on YouTube, but it waited for the stream to resume and then continued going, and then it just put those two pieces together in the final video that was available. So that can be useful, but you can also set it so as soon as it senses a drop, boom, it cuts you off, it's done, show's closed. So that is something you can set on YouTube. Thanks, Anthony, for distinguishing YoloLive from Switcher Studio. I guess it's time to open my YoloBox. Is Yolo mobile portable? I'm mobile portable right now. Everything I've got is on a tripod, just as much as I was doing Switcher Studio on a tripod years ago, except I have a DSLR plugged into it, I have a webcam plugged into it, and I have my other YoloBox plugged into it, so I can do demos. So I can sit here and say, hey, look, here's the menu for my other YoloBox, and I can go into my video source switching mode. I can do different things. So I could demo this, and these side-by-sides are being created in the YoloBox Pro. I hope you got the Pro. It's the one I like the most. Is NDI coming soon? I'm going to guess no, only because NDI is a very heavy lift. I know because I had a i7 desktop PC, and I would bring in an NDI source, and I could see my CPU load increase 10%. That's on a desktop processor with a full-on NVIDIA GPU. And to try and ask an Android tablet to do it for under $1,000, I really don't. I'm going to come out and say, as an end user, I actually don't want NDI in my YoloBox, and I don't want them to spend time trying to go after NDI on the YoloBox because it's going to cause so many challenges in terms of CPU overhead and load and things like that. I love what it does. It does 10 more things than it did when I got it, and those are amazing things. But at the same time, the more you ask it to do, the harder it is for it to do all those things that it does. And I would much rather have it do a subset of things really, really well and be bulletproof. That's the current buzzword in the Facebook group. I'd rather it be absolutely bulletproof, and everything that it's supposed to do, it does 100% without fail, no glitches, no errors, no drop frames. I'd rather have that than just give me this other really CPU intensive thing too. I'd rather not do that. Any update on RTMP configuration from YoloBox and when it is expected? Frank just posted an update on that in the Facebook group, so go check out that as well. Beta Springs, Louisiana, USA. Thank you for chiming in. RTMP will always be configured on the computer. It's easier, I have to say, it is easier to send the email, which brings you to your YoloBox also has a backend on the YoloCast server, where you can go in and you can add your RTMP sources. And you can add them ahead of time and just have them sitting around so that you can turn them on and off on the YoloBox as needed. You don't have to try and create it at the location 5 minutes before the show. That's probably the wrong time to be doing that. As I always say, test, test, test. I built this whole thing, yesterday, tested it, ran it for hours, long before I got here today. Will YoloLive allow the side-by-side view to allow picture-in-picture so I can key out my animated graphics from a laptop with Tyler Pro Live 4? This help implementation of this when having guests. Wow. Okay, that's a whole lot of going on. I'm going to say, if you've already got a side-by-side that is kind of picture-in-picture with a background, and then you want to put picture-in-picture in front of it, and then you want to key something out, I think that's a whole lot of things going on there. And I'm going to say no, because that would be 3 active layers. I don't think that would be possible. But if you have animated graphics that you could load them in as GIF and bring them up over top, and they will work as animated graphics. And I could actually do that with you right now. So let me go over to my graphics. Let me add, and let me do an image overlay. And I am going to grab this one, which I know is an animated GIF, and then, yeah, just fine. And then just to be annoying, I'm going to put it right in front of myself. So here you can see this is an animated GIF, and it's playing over top of my video. So you could have a side-by-side with a background and then put an animated GIF over top of it, and that may give you the layering you want. So I'm just being goofy at that point. So just showing you that you can have that extra layer and it can be moving. Watching from South Africa. Thank you all. Hey, and if anybody is in the Facebook group, can you tell me what the current view count is in Facebook? We're still at about 20 on YouTube, but again, we're watching around the world, and I thank you all for being here. It's 12:30, and we are here live at the FilmGear Expo show in Dallas, Texas. I'm just, panning my camera back and forth. You can see, there's lighting demos, there's battery demos going on, and this hall just extends back in it, and it's kind of labyrinthian back there. And it really does, it's a pretty big show that happens down here in Dallas, and Idea Man Studios, where it's being held, gave me the ability to set up and do my show live from the expo down here. So, that's something, look around in your local neighborhood, see if there's, something you could go and just walk around the booths and talk to people and learn more, because there's always more to learn. I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I am still learning new stuff every day because there's always new stuff. 5 years ago, I didn't have a YoloBox. Now I'm doing live shows on the YoloBox. So that is something to be, there's always new stuff. And I think, if there's a way to change the time from 24 hours to 12 hours for AM and PM on the YoloBox Pro. That's probably an Android setting, and as end users, we don't have access to those Android settings. However, if you were to find the video on how to install Speedify on your YoloBox, that basically gives you access to the Android tablet. And once you have access to the Android tablet, you can probably have access to that setting. And it could be an easy preference added to the settings in the app as well. But that's a way to do it. For me, it's not that big of a deal. But I know for others it can be very confusing. Fabo says, I use capture code on my USB port today. I add my laptop as a source to my YoloBox. I've noticed a bit of loss in quality in picture compared to when I add the same laptop directly to HDMI 1 or 2. Yes, I think I saw this same question in the Facebook group. And if you're using, I actually have one here. I brought a couple props. If you're using these little converter boxes to bring in your video over USB, then, this thing sold for $17. What kind of quality are you going to expect for $17 when you plug it into a $1,200 tablet? I'm going to guess that the converters and the hardware in the YoloBox are better quality than the $17, and that's retail. What does this cost to actually make and ship from the factory at Foxconn in China? $2? Yeah, it's usable for a laptop, but if you want the best quality, as you have found, come in the ports that are built into the YoloBox, and then I actually use this. I have used this for an input. Usually it's like a third camera, like an overhead camera, so the view is not as critical as like my main camera. So, Jose Luis says, thank you. And thank you all for being here. We're halfway through the show. I thank you all for watching. Again, my name is, I'm going to go over to my graphics panel. My name is Anthony Barocas, here for YOLO Live. I am producing this live streamed show all on battery power, all on one tripod, here on location at Idea Man Studios in Dallas, Texas. I am out of my office. I am out of the studio. I am on location. I could pick this whole thing up and move it. I could pick it all up and like walk around with it, but I'm not going to, because the expo here actually has a good bit of traffic, so if I show you the expo back here, you can see there's a bunch of people, and I would not try to walk through the crowd here with this whole big rack of gear. But I have two cameras on this tripod. I have a YoloBox Mini down here that I also have connected to the HDMI input number 2 that I could use to demonstrate any questions that come up about the YoloBox and settings and things like that. And I have a battery bank. I have a phone that I'm watching the stream on YouTube just to double check how it's being received. And I've got my webcam, I've got my wireless microphone and the receiver going into the YoloBox. I even have a little light that I completely forgot to turn on. So let me turn that on. There we go. Now I've got a little bit more light. I've got all of this on one tripod, and it's just a demonstration of the fact that this stuff is so portable. I'm going to reduce the amount of that light that is back there. It's just an example of how the YoloBox is so integrated. There's so much packed into this small package that it really does make it easy to take with you and have at the ready. it's the size of a book, and that just makes it super easy. I'll go through, it's 30 minutes, so I'll go through my normal things. If you're watching on Facebook, there is a YOLO Live Tech channel with lots of tutorials. If you're new to the YoloBox, there are several playlists to get you up and running with the in-stream. A playlist for YoloBox tutorials. There's a playlist for YoloCast, so you can really get up to speed and really just sit down, go to class, write, take notes and everything, and you'll learn about, each of the features that these devices do by watching the tutorials. If you are on YouTube, there is an official YOLO Live user group that is very active, and the YOLO Live team in China are very involved in the group. They ask members questions and they, answer questions. It's not a hands-off. They are very involved in the group, and there's several people involved in the group. So definitely, if you're not already in the Facebook group, join that. It is very well worth the time you put into it. And lastly, if you have a problem that other people in the group can't answer, you can always send an email directly to support@yololive.com. I'm going to wait till that fades out. And once again, my name is Anthony Barocas for YOLO Live. I am an independent multi-camera live streaming producer in Dallas, Texas, which is where I am today at the Idea Man Studios, where they're having a FilmGear Expo. And I just wanted to demonstrate the portability of this kit. It's all set up on a tripod. And again, I haven't heard anybody ask if they want to see a tour of the setup. If you do, let me know in the comments and we can make that happen, because I came ready to do that. Let's go back to the comments here. Let's go to that one, scroll down. I'm going through my comments. This one says, let's go back here. Please post a picture of your current setup on Facebook after the stream. I actually posted a picture on Facebook already. I posted it yesterday while I was doing the test. Setup and testing and endurance testing. I let it run until batteries started just dropping dead. And that is how you test. You just beat it up to find where the breaking points are. I always say test, test, test. I have a video coming up, working on the script right now. Top 10 tips for live streaming success. That is going to be coming up soon. Greetings from Italy. How are you pulling comments today? Normally with scheduled streams, you can't. I scheduled the stream using the API in the YoloBox. If you do it via RTMP, you can't. If you do it via a YoloCast event, you can't. But if you go through YoloBox and create the event in YoloBox, set the day, time, description, everything, and then create it there, it creates the events on YouTube and on a Facebook page, not a group, a page, and that's a Facebook limitation. And that way I am able to collect comments as well as pictures and names. Whereas if you do it to a group, a Facebook limitation prevents you from capturing or bringing in the name and the picture as I have done here. So what I'm doing is I have it streaming to the YOLO Live Tech page where that is allowed. And then I shared that stream into the group so that people from the group can then watch it, but they're actually watching it as published on the stream. On the page, sorry. I've been talking for 30 minutes. So what that is doing is that is allowing me to pull those things in directly. The magic of YoloCast is kind of tied to YoloBox, even though it's also a paid service. One of the basic features of YoloCast is once you create the stream from the YoloBox using the API and the multicasting service in the YoloBox, you can then go into the YoloCast and update the description and things like that. You can even go onto YouTube and Facebook, which is what I did, upload a new thumbnail, a special thumbnail, which was this thumbnail, and upload that and have that there and update the description and, yes, it's not for children, or yes, it is, it's not for children. What playlist does it go into? Those things aren't available when you create it on the YoloBox, but because I created it ahead of time, I was able to go in and do all those things before the show went live today. Very good question. Thank you very much. Again, today is a great Q&A show because I'm on location, and today's I am at a film expo. There's a lot of demos going on here. It's very busy. I apologize if it's too loud, but I'm trying to talk over what's going on. Here's a good one. I think YoloCast is overpriced. I shoot around 15-20 sports per city and at UCT FPS. Currently, what costs around $1,800 a year? What do you think about daily YoloCast packages for smaller users? I am not on the pricing team. There are lots of services out there. You could go with Vimeo. You could just use YouTube. YouTube's free, and YouTube does 60 frames per second. So there's nothing stopping you from picking a service that does what you need. For many people, YoloCast has the benefit of being integrated into the YoloBox, so you have that special sauce, like Apple likes to say, little secret sauce that they've got moving in between the two devices. And also, it provides just the right features, and it also provides some very unique features, as in, if you were going to have music at an event, you're not going to want it on YouTube because it'd be blocked in certain countries. You're not going to want it on Facebook because you could just be cut off. Whereas having your own content delivery network like YoloCast means that you can embed that on your webpage, bring people to your website, and you're not going to be cut off with your content. So everybody's cost value proposition is different. You may feel this is overpriced, and other people will feel it's a bargain. But everybody's needs and cost structures are different. Hey, Anthony, could you pan to your right and get rid of the projector light in the background? I can't pan. I'd have to pick up the whole tripod. I can try a little bit, so there's that. Actually, you know what? Scoot over a little bit away from this guy's table. Yeah, so there's the Chauvet lighting is right across the walkway from me, and they've got a whole mess of lights, including this really powerful. I mean, it's got to be at least 1,000, maybe 1,500 watt, traditional watt LED. So I'm going to guess it's probably a 500 watt Cobb or 200 watt Cobb light, and it's a Fresnel, so it's focusable. So it's a honking light. It's really, really bright. How long can I stream without the YoloCast subscription? Forever. The YoloBox does not require YoloCast. None of the YoloBoxes require YoloCast. They don't. You can subscribe to it, and there are free things that are free that you need to have the YoloCast to mess with, like doing RTMP. That's going to be through the YoloCast interface, but it's free to be able to do that, just because it's so hard to do it on a tablet. And the tablet, you can't bounce between a website, copy something and go over here and paste it, and email and copy something and go over here and paste it. Because you can't do that on the tablet, YOLO Live has made that happen on the YoloCast website, just because it's so much easier to copy and paste from something else. And you don't want to try and type a really long stream key in by hand, because you're going to get a letter wrong and then it's not going to work. Zixie, Thor, make it happen. Thank you. I was waiting for somebody to call for this. Anthony, can you show us your setup? Okay. I made this camera removable, so excuse the shake while I uncouple it. And then I'm going to be looking at the same monitor you're going to be looking at. So let me back up here a little bit. Whoa. Okay, so this is the YoloBox I have down here, which is receiving my HDMI feed from my GH3, which is up here. And up here on top of that, I've got my wireless mic. And then this output is feeding my YoloBox Pro. So I've got my main camera coming in here, my YoloBox Pro coming in here, and this is the USB for this camera. And then over here is my audio coming in. Here's my headphones, so I can monitor the audio before the show. And this is where the battery was coming in, and it still says I'm at 100%. So technically this battery is on its last legs. It's got one more dot. And that battery is providing the first, it's like the launch rocket. So that one is going to launch me, and then the internal battery will carry me the rest of the way. And then over here, I've got my phone watching the YouTube clip. And then if I do this enough, you'll see it start to appear over here. And that's how I'm just double checking my feed. I've got a little light over here on my face, which is, I've got a little tungsten filter in there. And this is literally all on a tripod. And I can pick this up and I can move this anywhere. And you can see that's going right there. And then, of course, I've got my lavalier right here, which goes down to this little transmitter right there. And like I said, I've got, right now I'm only using one, but if we're going to do an interview, I could have the second one up there. And that camera right there is the view of the audience. So if I move it to the right, move it to the left, you can see that camera is live. This is not Memorex. And that is how I am doing this. So let's do that for a second while I rejigger this back into the stand. And then I can come back and talk to you. And that is how I've set this up to be mobile. I mean, the YoloBox makes it super easy to be this mobile. I mean, I literally have my titler, my graphics, my audio mixer, my streaming device, my camera switch, all this stuff that would be a table full of gear is all in the YoloBox. And then I'm just adding cameras and monitoring and even a demonstration YoloBox that I really don't need if I was just doing a show with cameras. And that is how I'm doing this show. Will you embed a lyrics player with song catalog for when you streaming using your church worshiping? A lyrics player with song catalog? I'm going to say no, because there's already so much software out there that does that. Just bring it in via HDMI. What about bonding? Is it supported to YoloBox Live in the original YoloBox? Bonding is a process, for those who don't know, bonding is two halves of a whole. And the YoloBox Pro in America has a beta test of bonding. And what bonding is it takes this stream of video and chops it all up, and then it numbers those frames, and it sends them out, via cellular and Wi-Fi. Now, those video clips going those different paths are going to take different lengths of time to arrive at the destination. And for true bonding, there has to be a server, a computer somewhere that somebody has set up with software and it's powered and is cooled and everything. This costs money to have that happen. So the server collects all these packets with the numbers and puts them back into the proper order, so that then it sends that stream onto the final destinations. That's what bonding is. It's supported on the YoloBox Live, or I think you mean the live stream. I don't think live stream does bonding yet, mostly because it sends directly to TikTok or InStream using the app. And YOLO Live hands it off to the app that then sends it to the internet. So YOLO Live does not control the internet connection at that point. It's the InStream app or TikTok. Whereas with the YoloBox controls the sending and the receiving server. So they're able, since they have control of both servers, they're able to do that. And that's why I think it's going to be YoloBox Pro and maybe even the YoloBox Mini and any future YoloBoxes. And I expect it will be a paid service, part of a paid YoloCast subscription, because again, you have to pay for that server at the other end. And if 10,000 people are all doing it, you have to pay for 10,000 machines reassembling all these packets and resending all that stuff. That costs money to have those machines, to set up those machines, to administer those machines, power those machines, cool all those machines. All that costs money. So that will likely be part of a paid service, and I'm okay with that because there's no free bonding. And will it come to the original YoloBox? Probably not, because that's, again, asking the CPU to do more. And the original YoloBox is pretty much at the limit of what it can do while still doing, clean video, clean switching, clean graphics and everything. I really don't want to ask the original YoloBox from 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 6 years ago. Okay, are you still using a 6-year-old phone to make phone calls? Probably not. So let's not ask a 6-year-old tablet to do multi-camera live switching, bonding, titling, streaming, and all of that. So sorry, I just went on a soapbox. Hello from India. Thank you very much for chiming in from India. Hello to everyone around the world. If your country has not already been called out, if you haven't already chimed in to let me know where you are watching the show from, please do. I really enjoy seeing where everybody is viewing from and knowing, how far the reach of this show is. So I really appreciate that. That's better, thanks. Glad I could help move the whole thing. Superbox. Oh, okay, so you guys are, thank you for your replay. Do you know if and when there will be a 4K version of the YoloBox Pro? I know people have asked for that, but honestly, I don't see that being a thing, because the vast majority of streamed content, other than, let's just say, Disney and Hulu and stream content for home, but the vast majority of events and other types of stream content is viewed on tablets, computers, and mobile devices. Nobody's watching it in 4K. Nobody is watching it in 4K. You can produce it in 4K, but nobody's watching it in 4K. So why produce it in 4K? It's so much better to have a good, clean, reliable, powerful, multi-camera, live switched HD stream than it is to try and go 4K, because the perceived value between a good HD stream and a good 4K stream for the type of content you're going to produce with this. If you have a really big show and it's like, you're going to be using 4K cameras and all this stuff, you probably have the budget to be doing it on a device that does do 4K live switching. But if you're portable and live and you're, HD suffices, I would say, for 90% of the content that is streamed. But if I want to watch, the Mission Impossible, yeah, I would love to watch that in 4K. I actually don't have a 4K TV or a 4K screen other than my computers at home. So if I wanted to watch in 4K, I'd watch on my streaming production computer, which actually has 2 4K displays connected to it. But our TV in the living room, it's an HD display. Hello from the great country of Austin, Texas. Hello from the great country of Dallas, where we are here live at the FilmGear Expo. Let me dial this down a little bit. They cranked up some lights over there. The FilmGear Expo here in Dallas, Texas at Idea Man Studios, who are providing me with the space and the bandwidth to do this live stream for you today. 12:53, 7 more minutes. If you got any questions, get them in quick. I've got a Florida man here as well. I am using the YoloBox. Can I stream on my friend's YouTube account using his stream key and URL using RTMS server, as once I tried to do, but I wasn't able to do live? Absolutely. I do that all the time. You get his stream key and URL, you create the RTMP, either you create it using YoloCast, you embed that information into that RTMP destination, and then in your YoloCast, it will then be reflected automatically in your YOLO Live. And I can show you that because I have a YoloBox here set up. So this is flipped, so it may flip around, so I apologize if it does that. So I'm going to exit this thing that's going on, done. And here you can see these events. If I want to create a new event, I'm going to say, oh no, I would need to go back one more. I need to go to RTMPs. Yeah, you can. That's where you would create it, and then I'm going to, actually, you know what? I am going to go into the show, open this one, and my destinations. You can see down here, I've got a YouTube RTMP over there at the bottom, and a YOLO Live Tech. So those are set up using YoloCast, and then they appear as destinations in my YoloBox so that I can call them up as destinations. I'm not going to do that now because I'm in the middle of a show and I don't want to mess anything on my live show up. But that's where you would do it. And then the other things above are, through your API, they're set up. And if you have multiple YOLO boxes, you have one YoloCast account, and that is reflected on all your devices. So if you have two devices, they're going to be showing the same accounts. And if you create something on one box, it'll show up on the other box. So that's actually kind of cool. It doesn't share media yet, but here's hoping in the future that is possible. So thanks for the YoloBox question. I was able to actually demonstrate that. Once again, I am going to start summing up. My name is Anthony Barocas here for YOLO Live. I am here at the Idea Man Studios in Dallas, Texas, doing a live Q&A show to demonstrate how powerful these boxes are. I have been going all for 1 hour and 10 minutes. I have basically used up my external battery pack, and my YOLO box is at 100%. My other YOLO box is at 47%. So the Mini, which I have had going without an external battery bank, but with the video coming through it, I'm not streaming from it directly, but it has been going with the monitor on and for the entire same amount of time as the Pro, and it's only down to 47%. My phone is at 70%. The camera is down to 2 bars. It's a GH3, which they last forever on battery, so I love them. And the battery in the microphone still says it's full, so that thing will probably run all day. And my light is still working, so everything worked great. This is one of those shows where everything worked swimmingly, and I'm glad you were all here to watch it. Oh, I see a new question. Let me scroll back over here. Scroll down to the bottom. Let's go back to all. Is there any way to adjust white balance on the YoloBox device? I use YoloBox Pro for streaming and Roger YoloBox as a monitor and would like to color match them. White balance. You don't adjust white balance on the box. You adjust the white balance on the camera. You mean adjust the color temperature of the box or the tablet? You can adjust the brightness on the boxes, but you can't change the color temperature because that would be inherent in the way the display is made and the Android operating system. So I don't think that's going to be a thing. Let's see if I missed any from Facebook. Marcus says the setup is very compact. Yes, that is one of the things I really love about the YoloBox is it really is a table full of gear, elegantly smashed into a tablet that you can, carry with you in your backpack with ease. Yes, you could do the same thing with a laptop, but this has the physical HDMI inputs, whereas a laptop does not. So you're going to need another box to do that, your inputs, and then you're going to ask the laptop to do multicasting too. There's so much built into the YoloCast and the YoloBox service that really make this super appealing for doing exactly what I'm doing here today. I'm doing an on-location, live-switched, multi-camera, streamed, recorded to multiple destinations with comments. All the comments are coming directly into the YoloBox itself. That I thank you for being here to watch the show. I appreciate all the viewers who have chimed in with questions, comments, and just letting me know where you're all watching from, because I think there has to be literally a dozen different countries watching the stream here today. It's noon for me, it's lunchtime for me, and I am going to go grab myself a sandwich as soon as today's show is done. So I thank you all for being here. My name is Anthony Barocas for YOLO Live. I am a live streaming producer in Dallas, Texas. I'll travel to wherever, and I'll even use the YoloBox if you need me to do a live show. If you are watching on Facebook, there is the YOLO Live Tech YouTube channel with lots of tutorials on the YoloBox, the InStream, and the YoloCast streaming service. If you are watching on YouTube, there is the Facebook YOLO Live user group. Definitely check that out. Lots of active, engaged users who are happy to help answer questions and help you get up to speed if you've got a problem. And if you have a problem that they can't solve, send an email to support@yololive.com. My name is Anthony Brokus. I am here at the Idea Man Studios at the FilmGear Expo, just demonstrating that you can do a multi-camera live Twitch show on a tripod. If you missed the whole tripod demonstration, it's kind of at 45 minutes, 40 minutes, I'm guessing, where we actually did, I showed the camera around, and if you're on the Facebook group, there's a photo of the setup, and I will publish more photos of the completed setup on location here at the Idea Man Studios in Dallas, Texas. So thank you all for watching. I enjoyed being here with you, and I will look forward to seeing you again on next week's show. Take care.